the folks off the street that do VP sales often doesn't even understand the 10X feature. It's too subtle. It's too subtle why the fact that your product is localized in Portuguese magically means you can win these deals. Or I'm making up something that doesn't quite make sense. But so you need 2 reps that are hitting quota, and then you hire VP sales. If you hire it before then, you're doing a Hail Mary. It ain't going to work. It never, ever, never, ever, ever, never, ever works. You're asking them to find product market fit, to be the first rep, to be the second rep, and scale it all at the same time. It's mission impossible to do all 4 at the same time, right? So that's the biggest mistake is, Lenny, I can't get sales going at my company. I can't do it, but I raised $4 million in my seed plus round. I'm going to go out and hire the VP of sales. That VP of sales will not be there in 8 months. And you know what else? 2 million of the 4 will be gone because they'll never understand the product. They will never understand. And if there was one thing that, there's so many things we could talk about, but if there's one thing I could reinforce for this audience, it's that, that early sales team, they've got to be product gurus for your product audience. They've got to be product experts. And later as you scale, they can't be, or you can't scale. When I came out of my own startup and started interviewing other folks, I remember I would interview a lot of folks at places like GitHub back in the day. I'd be like, do you have a technical background? Like, are you an engineer? Have you ever built any software? They're like, no, I don't know. And I was curious how you could do it, but GitHub was so well established that it's 10 questions. It's 10 questions and grab a sales engineer. It's 10 questions and grab. So you got to be really good at 10 and then you grab a sales engineer. That doesn't work in the early stage startups. So you got to find these sales folks that are a bit of product savants, and dropping the VP of sales in that isn't a product savant, which is a big issue. That's all Mr. or Ms. Process. This is the issue. They're all Mr. or Ms. Process. Okay. So the second point I wanted to make, and I was on the fence for years of when you hire a VP of sales, do they need to carry a bag? Do they need to sell themselves or not? Does it matter? And I wasn't sure for a long time. And the reason I wasn't sure for a long time is not that you don't want a VP of sales carrying a bag. And I do think a VP of engineering also should commit code. We can
and
talk
carrying
about
a bag, meaning close sales themselves.
Yeah, not just be a boss.
Have a
not
quota.
just be a boss.
Okay,
yeah, have a quota. And the reason I was on the fence was because I was like, well, listen, in theory, it's great. But let's say you're a hot startup and you want to go from 2 to 6 this year. Okay. So I want to add 4 million in new bookings. And let's say I can do 400K in quota per rep. That means I got to have 10 reps. She walks in with 2. I'm at a race, aren't I? I got to hire 8 in the next 6 months to hit my plan. And I got to put numbers on the board. If I'm out there as an individual contributor or sales rep, I'm never going to hire 8 people, am I? It's never going to happen. So I used to say, I don't know if it matters, but what I've learned the last 18 to 20 months, when everyone has gotten lazy, Lenny, everyone in tech has gotten lazy, is I see way too many VPs to sales that come in and never have any idea how to sell the product. Never. They only want to be managers. Now, whether they carry a bag or whether what they do is they join calls with the reps, right? Whether they backfill the reps, you want your VP of sales in deals 20, 30 hours a week when they start. And I see VPs of sales today they're in no deals. I'll go to a board meeting and VP of sales will be there 2-3 months and they'll have a logo on the word. I'm like, how's it going with Airbnb? And they'll be like, I don't know. I got to ask John. Doesn't know because isn't even in the deal. Isn't even in the deal. So I see this too often.